And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Common Man Show, coming to you live and coming to you from the inner sanctum sanctorum that is Austin, Texas. So folks, we're very excited to be here with you guys. I'm stoked. I'm back. I'm doing a program. We're here. It's just been an interesting past couple of weeks, folks, and it's just so much to say. Okay, it's just one of those days that you just have to vent and talk and just get stuff off your chest. Just to at the end of the day, you can just go, okay, that was good. That was a good time, and we're very excited and all that fun stuff. So we have. I just don't know where to start, folks. In all honesty, I just don't know where to start. I can say this, is that I'm wearing my lucky black shirt, which whenever I wear my lucky black shirt means that I've got very profound, very exciting things to say that you're just like, I could not believe that something like that came out of him. So, but folks, before we continue, let me go ahead and give you guys all the ways you can reach out to us, folks. Obviously, we do a live program on Ustream on Tuesdays. We also do podcast formats where we do this program, and then we through the magic of television, we change this and we make this into a podcast format where you're able to listen to this from anywhere and any place that you are able to listen to music or whatever the case you want to listen to. So, folks, for example, if you have a mobile device, you can actually listen to us as you're going from point A to point B. It is just like, wow, this is pretty cool. But let me tell you how you can connect to us, folks. If you're not watching this program here live on Ustream, then you can reach out to us or you can listen to us in the following manners. If you have an iPhone, iPad, iPod, whatever the fregada that you decide to have, or can't believe I have that machine, you can actually download the iTunes app, or if you can actually download iTunes on your mobile device, and you can type in the Common Man Show, and you will be able to subscribe to the weekly programs that we have on here, and in addition to another program that we're going to be talking about very soon. But you can listen to the programs there week in and week out. You can also find us on Zune. So like if you don't believe in Apple products, then that's fine. You can connect through Zune, where you can download the program and listen to the program there if you have a Microsoft program MP3 player. You can also reach out to us via StitcherRadio.com. So if you go to Stitcher.com, you'll be able to catch the weekly program on Stitcher Radio and be able to listen to us or listen to this program at your pleasure, at your leisure, and whenever you darn well feel like it. And in addition, folks, one of the other things that's been going on is that we have actually started on Easter Sunday. We started a program that you can watch or you can listen to on all digital radio. That's right, folks. I said it. All digital radio, where you can listen to even more profound conversations from the Common Man, Gabriel Nila, on the Common Man Show. And we will download those programs onto your available mobile devices, so you too can listen to those programs in the event that you're not able to listen to the program on all digital radio. It just almost rolls off the tongue as like the name of our sponsors. You know, all digital radio. It just sounds so magical and so fresh and so clean, and it's just like, I like that stuff. I like it. But I want to continue on and thank a couple of important people actually a couple of important groups that have been working with us since we started the change of the format of the Common Man Show, which was previously known as the Common Man with Gabriel Nila, but now the Common Man Show. We want to thank Pixel 8 Social Media and Marketing for the work that they've helped us out. They've been really great friends and really great supporters of this program and what we talk about and what we do on the Common Man Show. We also have to thank 2310 Scenic Drive, which is a great magazine where you get to see some great stuff going on in El Paso. And you see some great politics articles going back and forth. And also we want to thank the Scoop on ElPaso.com. That's right, the Scoop on El Paso. That kind of rolls off the tongue also. It's just like, It's like a breath of fresh air. The Scoop on El Paso. If you want to find great deals going on in El Paso, you can find them right there on thescooponelpaso.com. Find some great places to go eat. Find some great places where you can find drinks. Great places where you can stick people that come to visit you because you don't want them staying at your house. You can find some great rates on hotels. And if you happen to get into a car accident, they have some places where they have one place in particular that you can go and find some great rates on repairs that they can do on your motor vehicle or other mode of transportation. TheScoopOnElPaso.com, folks. You just gotta love it. I've been working with them for quite a while on some other projects, and they are just great over there. Pixelate social media marketing, and in fact, let me tell you one thing that we're going to be doing with Pixelate. We're going to be advertising one of the events that they're going to be doing. I talked to them about one of the. They were telling me about some of the great stuff that they have going on with helping you learn how to do what we do here on the Common Man Show, and other individuals that capitalize on the social marketing realm. They've got a great class that they're doing, and we're going to promote that. We're going to promote that on the Common Man Show fan page on Facebook and also on the Common Man Show website. So there's a couple of other ways. There's some ways you can reach out to us, folks. If you're on Facebook, click on the like button to the Common Man Show. You're going to see the Common Man Show there. You're going to see this nice black and blue logo that you're going to see that's created by me. You'll also want to go to thecommonmanshow.com, which is a website that was created just for this program, folks, just for the Common Man Show. We have got some stuff that we are going to be uploading very soon, not only to promote the programs that we're doing here, but also all the other fun stuff that's going to be going on. We've got some conversations and some commentary that we're going to be posting about some recent events that went on, including the GSA scandal that went on involving Region 9, I believe, and the stuff that they did and how they could have done to improve that and not get in trouble. And also some of the other stuff, some other interesting items that you're going to see that have been selected by me and handwritten with these loving fingers on this loving computer that sits right in front of me and to the left of me and another one that's nearby. So you'll be able to see some of the stuff that we have posted on there with commentary that you'll be able to comment. You'll be able to see you'll be able to say, hey, I agree with you. I don't agree with you. I think you're just nuts. But that's okay. That's the beauty of what we have going on here on the Common Man Show. Folks, it's been an intriguing week. It's been actually an intriguing 2 weeks. I want to go ahead and vent this out. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad vent. You guys noticed that we weren't here last week. We did not have a program. However, if you went to the Common Man Show fan site, you did see a program that we did on Easter Sunday where we introduced ourselves to All Digital Radio. And then we fell off the face of the earth. In fact, I had to call a couple of people up and apologize to them because we made a decision to go ahead and just fall off the face of the earth for a few days as I go ahead and adjust myself over here a little bit in my handy dandy happy chair. We had to fall off the face of the earth for a few reasons. Or actually, it's one very important reason. And here's what happened, folks. I want to go ahead and not tell you I mean, I don't want to give you full details of what's going on, but I want to give you a sense of what occurred. Sunday, we had a very close family friend and family member leave us. And it was a sudden situation, and we were very shocked about what occurred. And I'm not going to get into full details as to what happened and all that stuff, but I do want to go ahead and talk a little bit about what some of the events that occurred as a result of it and what went on. Because, you know, sometimes when you take travels and you go from one place to another, you tend to actually get some really great stories along the way. For example, I did a road warrior trip with my father-in-law that lives in El Paso, and we did a trek from California to Nevada and then back down within a 3-day period, actually less than a 3-day period, and we just had a whole bunch of stuff that we can talk about, including my fiasco or my escapade with with an In-N-Out burger. My God, it was just so beautiful. But anyway, what happened is that we lost a family member, and obviously we were all devastated by what occurred. But we had we had to make a trip to the Midwest. I'm not going to say exactly where we went, but we went to the Midwest. And the Midwest area that we went to, just to give you an idea as to what it was, we had it's a rural community. It's a farming community. And we went there and spent some time with the family. And I've got to say some stuff about a question. It's a question that I want to ask everybody. And the question is, who is your role model? What do you define as a role model? And can you immediately identify who that role model is? And can you say, yeah, it's person X. I had a couple of role models growing up. Obviously, we look up to our parents, and we look up to other individuals. Like one of the biggest individuals that I have is my brother. One of my brothers. I call him the saint from the house because he's just this awesome guy that is willing to help out anybody and everybody at the drop of a hat. And of course, my parents. My mom's a saint. My mom's a saint as well, and I love my dad and my mom very much. But I got to look again at this person that passed on. And I just got to say this. It was incredible because we spent 2 days. Actually, my wife and a few other family members spent a couple of days just talking to people left and right, wanting to give the condolences to the passing of this man. And people were just saying, I can tell you stories about him. I can tell you stories about this person. And left and right, folks. I mean, there was a large number of people just wanting to come and say goodbye to this man. And he was a very religious, righteous man. And I got to say this, and I don't mean that in a negative way. And if you guys have heard me talk about my beliefs on religion, it's completely opposite of what this man believed in, and never once did I ever see him or hear him while he was with us on this earth say anything negative about the religion that he was from. And he wasn't Catholic; he was something else, and we'll leave that one alone. But it was very touching just to see all these individuals just come up to him. We had a person that never met the man. Okay, he never met him. But he came down because he heard other people talking about him and talk about how great he was and how influential he was to the community that he grew up in. And he came down and spoke to a couple of people and said, I had to meet the man that so many people are talking about right now, and so many people are saddened about his passing. And it struck me with awe about what happened. I'm like, how does that happen? In this day and age, how does that happen? And it came down to this, that based on my review and analysis of what goes on, as I like to do with everything, he was devout. He loved to fly the straight and narrow. He loved purely, loved greatly. He worked hard, and not once did he have anything negative to say about anybody. And because of that, people respected him for that. He was loved by many. And when he passed on, he actually wrote his own funeral and said, this is how I want to pass. When my day has come, this is how I want it to be. And it was just so beautiful. I've been touched before, from a religious standpoint in regards to feeling something there, emotionally and spiritually. And it came back. And I've got to say something that really hit home about the fact that we've grown up in a society that has been very science and fact driven. And because of that, we've been able to dispel certain events that occurred in history that we took as faith or as magic, or I don't want to say magic, but took as a result of the hand of a higher being. And the pastor that gave the service made a couple of profound comments, and this is one of the things that really struck me. He gave some of the children a shamrock. It was a shamrock pod, and he asked them to grow them later on. When they get back home and get back to where they were going to be, and everything's been said and done. He asked if he can have them grow this pod to see what comes out, because the discussion was this: science can identify and say, this is what occurs and this is how things happen. We can track the travel of the sun and track the travel of the moon, and we can count through science how long we've been on this earth. But it can't tell us what happens when we leave this planet or when we leave this earthly plane. And it doesn't tell us what happened prior to the Big Bang. We know we can track. I read a book from Stephen Hawking years ago where he says we can track all the way from the beginning, that once the Big Bang hit, we can say, yeah, this is what occurred. But we can't tell, no one can tell us what occurred prior to that. And no one can tell us how it actually started. All we know is that something occurred and boom, it happened. We can do all that stuff. But we can't explain some of the other things. And what he wanted to drive a point was this: you can answer almost everything else, but when you can't answer what can be answered, what cannot be answered by science, then you have to have another solution to what occurred. And the answer is what he said was faith. It's something, it's the belief that a higher authority or a higher power made these situations occurred, and with the hand that they tipped and whatever, they caused whatever to occur. They couldn't tell. And through science, you cannot tell how a person's going to be when they're growing up. Through science, you cannot tell the exact image of what a person's going to be when they come out. I grew up, when my daughter was born, I remember talking to her biological mother and saying, when she asked me, what do you want? Do you want a boy or a girl? I said, I don't care. I don't care if it's a boy or a girl. I'm going to love it either way. But I'm going to ask it to have 2 arms, 2 legs, 10 toes, 10 fingers, and be healthy. And we can facilitate that to some degree by taking care of the mother as they are raised, as the child is growing in the womb. But we can't make the final decision as to what the baby's going to look like in the end, and whether or not it's going to actually be healthy. And through that, that's where faith comes in. And it hit me that, yeah, he's right. There's certain things that we cannot describe in life. But we can sure have a idea and sure have a belief of what may occur. And that's where religion kicks in, especially now in this day and age. And it struck me. And a lot of people were like, that just sounds so right. And I was amazed as to the response that I gave, actually, and other people gave about what was said. But it was just a very poignant situation, and it allowed me to open up my eyes a little bit more to the way I think now at this present time. Now, granted, I have changed in some philosophies. I've been very angry for years about religion. Growing up as a Catholic, it was kind of one of those situations where you're like, I'm just an angry Hispanic male. And the final straw for me was when I saw the priest of the church that I used to go to drunk at a graduation party, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I was so devout at one point where I even went as a kid. I was going as a child to church week in and week out, and I would even go. I remember one time going in my blue pajamas to church because I needed to go. I needed to hear what was being said by the priest. And then a couple of things occurred, with other people that I'm aware of and all that stuff, and I kind of walked away from the whole thing. And the priest situation was kind of the last straw for me. But I felt a little bit more relieved, I guess, if you will, that there's an answer for everything. And if you can't use science and you can't use logic, then faith is there. And that's where the belief starts kicking in, and the wonders, I guess, of life and the stuff of magic occurs, I guess, if you will. But I wanted to talk a little bit about that part. It was kind of my way of saying, thank you for everything to this person that has helped me out during these past few years. And I got to say this. He was actually, I used to look up a lot to, and I still do, to John Wayne. John Wayne was always considered, as I was growing up, they'd always say, John Wayne is the man's man. And he always had this thing where he believed in hard work and honest pay, treating everybody right, and he always treated the women so well in the movies. I mean, you don't believe me? Look at Hondo. Look at all the movies that he's done. The best one I love is The Silent Man, and also I can't remember the True Grit. And the way he treated some of the people out there was just, he was kind of rude and boorish on occasion, but he treated him right. McClintock was even the best one that I can use as an example. And this man that left us can be replaced as the man's man, because he treated everybody fairly. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, I think I can epitomize, or I can identify the man's man, and it was this man that left us, and to him I say thank you for what he's done for me, and teaching me during the short time that we were together. But it was a fantastic time that we had together. We were gone for 3-4 days, I think, but where I wasn't able to do the program on Friday, or on Tuesday that we normally do. But we're back. Like I said, we're back. We've got some exciting stuff coming up along the way when it comes to this program that I don't want to tell you right now what it is, because I don't want to jinx it. I made a couple of comments previously that we were going to try to get someone from the Ron Paul camp that we invited to come onto the program, and since has not done anything to even make an attempt to say, yeah, I'm interested in what you're doing, or not interested in. I would respect the people more if they just say, hey, we're not interested. Sorry, it just doesn't work. And I just like to say this, okay? The reason why they don't want to come on here is because they don't want to hear what we have to say. They don't want to hear the logic that we talk about on here, that you and I get to think about, because we're not politicians. We don't have to live with the rhetoric. We don't have to say, well, we're doing this because it's good for the country. No, we want to be able to say we're doing this because we need to, because this is what's going to happen. And it kind of ties in a little bit to what occurred yesterday. Actually, these past couple of days. Sunday, I went to an event, and I wasn't able to stay very long, and I apologize to the people for not staying there, but I got to meet one of the candidates here, I believe it's for House District 48 here for the Austin area. The gentleman's name is Robert Thomas, and he's running for the House State House here. And I only was able to spend about maybe 20 minutes, because I had to come back and do some show prep and get some stuff ready for a program that we were doing on All Digital Radio. But nice guy. I just got to say this, real nice, down to earth. I got to talk to some of the family members. I got to talk to people that know him, not from a personal sense, but know of him. And just a real nice guy. I mean, he was very open, very kind, and he welcomed you in. And it kind of felt, I got to say this part. It was kind of interesting, because you kind of felt like you knew the guy for a while. And you wanted to just stay there, just to enjoy the moment, but real friendly. You can never find that many politicians that are that friendly and just say, hey, how you doing? How's it going? And everything else. And granted, I know he's in political mode, but that's fine. He was just a real nice guy. And I got to say this. How many people do you know that will take time out of their way to call up the people that went and say, hey, thank you for coming over. It's been great. And I enjoyed myself. It was great talking to you. And remember exactly who you were. I got a phone call from him. And in fact, there was a phone call just a few hours before we started this program. And he was just very kind. And he's like, hey, I wanted to thank you for coming over. We talked for a few minutes. I told him I'm trying to get myself involved in the political scene here. And I don't mean involved politically as to say, hey, I want to be a politician. No, it's not that. I want to know what the atmosphere is here in Austin, because I just want to know. It's one of those things where I just want to be aware of what's going on and be of a mindset, so I can be prepared of what is happening. And it was just one of those moments that I was just it felt good. It felt good, because how often, answer this part. How often do you see a politician call you up and say, hey, how you doing? I want to thank you for coming over because, it was just great meeting with you and talking to you. What did you think about what happened? It was just amazing. It was just surreal, okay? And like I said, we talked for a few minutes, and it was, what more can you say? I want to meet more of this. I want to meet more of this guy. I want to talk to him more, and not necessarily just interview the guy. I just want to talk to the guy and just say, hey, how's it going? What do you think? Tell me more about what Austin is. And he actually educated me on some of the stuff that's going on within a 5-minute time span that we talked. And it was probably less than 5 minutes. It was just one of those fantastic things where I'm like, my God, I just talked to a politician, and it was actually a pretty good conversation. It was great, So we had that went on Sunday. Yesterday, there was a forum involving the upcoming elections with the mayor and some of the seats for city council. Now, Austin's kind of a unique place, and I think it's only one of a few places that actually do this. In Austin, the city votes for every precinct or every place, and there's like 6 places here in Austin, or probably a few more. But I can vote, literally, I can vote for any place that's in the city of Austin, even if it's not in my realm. Even if it's not in my district, which makes it kind of unique, kind of scary, because it just does. I don't know all the politicians. I want to be concerned about who's going to represent me, but obviously I will probably be represented by everybody from city council, and some of the city council members. In all honesty, I'm not that impressed. After listening to what they had or what they've done, I came out and saying, yeah, this person is a lifetime politician, and I cannot believe that this person is still around. Especially in this day and age when we are trying to find the best out there. Now, granted, from what I've been told, Austin's a different mindset, and that's fine. We'll go as we can and see what happens. But it was just an interesting piece. We got to listen to the mayoral election involving 3 individuals, and I apologize for not remembering all the names, just because I just have a bad memory right now. But we had 3 individuals, and in fact, what's going to happen is that we have video of what went on during these elections, or during these this forum, that we're going to be posting onto YouTube. I will be doing an analysis, kind of a quick rundown as to what I saw and what I thought about everything. It's not accurate, it's not perfect, but it's kind of my perception of what I saw in what was there. We had 3 individuals that were running. And I'm trying to get in here to see who exactly they were. And like I said, I have some information over here that I can run through. And in fact, we're going to take a quick break, and I'll get you some information real quick. Folks, we are back with the Common Man Show here, coming to you live on Ustream and coming to you from your mobile device, your phone, iPad, iPad. I personally use a Linux phone. It's a nice phone from T-Mobile, but it's a Samsung, I believe. But going back to what we wanted to do. We wanted to talk a little bit about the people that were in the race. We had the mayoral forum where we had the mayor, current mayor, and I think it's Lee Fletter, I forgot his last name. But we also had Bridget Shea, who's running for mayor, as well as Clay Defoe, who is also running. 3 different groups of individuals. Let me just put it to you that way. 3 different groups of individuals that were there. Of course, you have the mayor, the current mayor right now, who has been there for several years and kind of knows his way around the place, but also kind of talks like I don't know if, I don't want to say that he doesn't want to be there in all honesty, because I think he does, but he has this kind of mindset that, you know, I know what's best for you, and I don't want to have to really talk a lot about what's going on. When he got questioned and when they confronted him, in fact, I'll put it to you this way. There's one piece in the video where he was confronted, or they made some accusations and some negative comments about what he's done, and he's just getting all huffy and puffy. Funny as hell. It was funny. We'll have that in the video. We'll upload that part to you there. Bridget Shea, who's running for mayor also, she very knowledgeable, but from what I understand, she's been out of the loop and it's kind of come back in. You know, we applaud her for what's going on, and she was fairly knowledgeable. She had a lot of information out there. Didn't speak as much as a politician as I expected, even though she's been in the game for a while, or been out of the game for a while. But you know, there was some comments in there that was very down to earth, and I felt were fairly accurate. And the last person that was in there was Clay Defoe, who, young guy, okay, and you got to commend the young people that want to run. Here's my analysis. Here's my view of what was going on. He spoke a lot of the one-liners. You know, he used the rhetoric that's being said out there to go ahead and make his point, and it's like, no, we don't want that now. We don't want the rhetoric. We want down-to-earth conversations. I want that conversation where I can sit down with you and talk about what's going on, sort of like I did with Robert Thomas. You know, we sat down, we talked a little bit. It was kind of very straightforward, and it was great. You know, and it made me want to know more. I understand where he's coming from in a lot of ways. He has that mentality that he knows what he's talking about, but it's the comments that he's making that you can hear a politician. You know, we can hear the president, we can hear Mitt Romney say those comments right now, and it's just like, alrighty, you know, here we go. No, give me some meat, give me some substance that I can chew on and be able to analyze what you're saying. Don't give me the rhetoric. But it was kind of interesting. It was an interesting conversation that went on, that was out there. We also had, I want to say for place 5, and I apologize as I'm running through some of the information on here, we had Mike Martinez and Laura Presley that were running for the same seat. Mike Martinez he's knowledgeable. I'm not going to hide that from him. It's place 2. You know, he is very knowledgeable of what's going on. Eloquent speaker. I love the way he talks. He's that common man type mentality where he talks straightforward. Laura Presley, eloquent speaker. I love what she did. The only thing I would suggest to her is that she gets a little bit understanding of some of the ins and outs of what goes on with the legal aspects of city council. And here's what happened. In this forum, they had one of the moderators ask a question about settlements and doing settlements for, would they approve settlements on lawsuits against the city? And they had some discussion on that part, and Ms. Presley made a comment saying, well, you know, we shouldn't be doing this. You know, we shouldn't like hire outside counsel and everything else when we got these individuals that are doing it. And she kind of walked herself into a little corner where she was asked afterwards as a follow-up, well, why are we hiring all these people? If we have, you know, and she kind of didn't know how to answer the question. And what it boiled down to was this. If you are hiring, you know, why are we settling and why are we hiring outside attorneys when we have our own force of attorneys within the city? And the reality of the situation is this. You can get virtually any attorney, and this is something that I spoke to from another attorney that I knew for a while and that I worked with for a while. And what she said was this: you can get any attorney can know the law. Any attorney can study up on what's going on. It's how they practice it or whether it's their expertise is going to be a different story. And the reality of the situation is this: you can get any of those attorneys that work for the city, and they can learn how to take care of whatever case law that's out there. But the reality of this situation is that they don't want to. So what do? They say, okay, great, I'll go ahead and hire person X to go ahead and do this for me because I know they're proficient in what they do. So it's kind of a pro and con in that part, but the reality of the situation is that if we're going to be having these type of situations where where the city's potentially being sued, then you want to have the best team out there. And if they don't meet muster, then you need to get rid of them, either get them to become of that expertise or get rid of them. And it was kind of one of those situations where she kind of flubbed a little bit on that, or she kind of misspoke a little bit on that incident. But then she kind of tracked herself, kind of came back and answered very well at the end. I mean, well enough. But she stumbled a little bit on that piece. And you know, I'm not going to give my predictions as to who's going to win these races. It's just not my place. Like I said in previous programs, the last time I tried that, it didn't work out quite well. We had a few other people that were involved, and we had place 5. Where we had the incumbent, which is Bill Spellman, who's been there for a while and knows a lot of the stuff that's going on. There was a few other people. We had Dominic Chavez. We also had Tina Cannon and a couple of other individuals that kind of were there. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. There's 7 people that are running for place 5, and out of all of them, 3 people were of significance for me. 3 of them actually stood out. One gentleman is a student or lived in Chicago and was there. Another gentleman, and I think his last name is Rubin, kind of the class clown, if you will, and I don't mean that in a negative way. He's kind of he had some really good. He had a really good one-liner in the program, or in the forum, and there was, but just not a lot of stuff there. I wasn't really all that impressed. Tina Cannon, who was there, I liked her. She was very. Her and I talked briefly prior to the forum, and down to earth. It's kind of like that whole thing with Robert Thomas, just down to earth and enjoyable to talk. I would be able to go sit down and have a beer with her. Let's just put it that way. We can sit down and just talk probably about anything and everything. And if we wanted to talk politics, then we're there. But very knowledgeable. I can say that. We had Bill Spellman, who's the incumbent, knowledgeable as well. But the problem for me with him is that I think he's just been there just a little bit too long. And they cornered him on a question involving a situation with Apple, with Apple, and then bringing the business to Austin, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. There was another individual that was out there. Not a lot of fluff on that one. It wasn't really all that great that I can remember. And then you had Dominic Chavez, who very professional looking. I got to tell you that much. Very professional looking and very straight to the point, which kind of grabbed my attention. Also, I was like, not a lot of rhetoric. Maybe a little bit, but not a lot of rhetoric. And I was very happy with what was being said because it sounded correctly, and he was challenged on a question involving the school districts, and we have this on the video, and it was just, I'm like, damn, he knows, damn, that's just, if it was a boxing match, he got placed in the corner by the moderator, and then he just pushed the moderator out and said, I know what I'm talking about, get the hell out of my way, and it was just cool, it was just nice. So we had those individuals. Here's what happened, and this is something that I'm actually in favor of what they were doing, and they actually made a decision. City Council made a decision on this today. Apple wants to come over to Austin, and they said, okay, we'll come in, but we want some credits. We want some rebates so that we can go ahead and grow and prosper. Now, granted, they have buco bucks. They probably have more money. As one person said it, they have more money than some countries. In regards to earnings and profits. And what happened is that the moderator commented to them and said, hey, look, you're giving these guys credits. How can you let the person on the road know that that they can breathe a sigh of relief because they're going to get something out of this? And Mr. Spellman, to his credit, said, look, we came up with this deal where they're going to be putting in X amount of money into the system, but we're going to be giving them X amount of money back. And there's a win for us that we can go ahead and capitalize on that part. And he kept on asking. The moderator's like, look, how is this going to help me? And you know, is it going to mean lower taxes for me? Is it going to mean this? And they couldn't answer that because they couldn't have he's like, give me a definitive answer. And he couldn't answer that. A lot of people couldn't answer that. And I can tell you exactly how I would answer it if I was a politician and if I ran. I would tell the moderator this, say, look, if you're driving down the road and you want to know how this is going to affect you, this is how it's going to affect you. One, we're going to be getting in a new business that's going to be coming in, which is going to allow individuals to come in from other places around the country and possibly around the world to come to Austin, where they're going to start living and they're going to start buying either homes or renting apartments or renting homes or whatever the case may be, which is going to be an influx of money coming in that may have not been there previously. We are also going to be adding money on the backside by these individuals purchasing items for their personal use, whether it's in the form of foods, furniture, or other durable goods that might be out there that they can utilize, which we weren't getting before. We're also going to be able to have the opportunity for people that may not be working, either as part of the unemployed or underemployed, or those that have just walked off the workforce, to come in and take an opportunity to find a job that they will actually start earning money, that they will, instead of being fed off of the unemployment or fed off whatever programs, they will be able to go ahead and start to try to sustain themselves. Is there something that's going to help person A over here? Probably not. The only thing that I can foresee right now is two things. One is that if they have an opportunity where they want to try to get another job or move to a different location, then they have an additional opportunity here in Apple. In addition, obviously we have to deal with the rising costs and rising whatever of healthcare and what, you know, wages and quién sabe qué más and all these other items. The goal is that if we can get enough people in the workforce, then we may not have to raise taxes for a few years unless the cost of living increases exponentially. And the goal is to not have the cost of living increase raised so much, because we want to be able to have the durable workforce that can go work at Apple and make money and be able to put into the system. You're not going to see anything right away, but in the long haul, you're going to see this. You're going to see the goal of not having your taxes raised within X amount of years. You may have an opportunity to go ahead and seek other gainful employment in a company that has been doing fairly well. And you'll be able to go ahead and have some type of peace of mind that your friend or family member or someone you may know that's off the side of the road maybe may have an opportunity to seek some type of gainful employment. Bam. And that's it. That's all. That's the goals right now that we would see. I can't see, you can't give them a piece that says, hey, by the way, this is what you're going to get in the end. It's not there. We can't see that yet, but we can kind of go for the goal and say, this is what we want, and this is what we project as to what's going to happen. Now, there was another race for place 6, and I forgot the lady's name. That's actually the mayor pro tem, and some guy named Sean Ireland that's running. I have video of what was going on. I don't have it all because my camera's battery kind of ran out. But I got to say this. I think I know who's going to win that one. Okay. There was just some comments that were made by Sean Ireland that I just wanted to go up afterwards and just say, look, dude, let me correct you on how this is supposed to work out. And then we came out in the topic of the medical center that they want to build here in Austin. If you guys go to the Common Man Show page, I posted an article that the Statesman here in Austin talked about in El Paso. And in El Paso, obviously we have the Paul Foster School of Medicine, which was a great advantage and a great coup for the city, because we have now a place where students can come over and learn medicine. We also have a place where doctors can come in and teach and have some type of resource where they have with the University Medical Center as a background to help them out. And Austin missed the boat on that part. And that's something that they've admitted. They're like, we missed the boat. We want to learn how to do this. And so they're coming to El Paso and saying, how did you do this? And they're studying what happened. And it's great. You know, it's a great premise behind that whole thing. And they talked about, I believe, the location of where the new School of Medicine would be for UT and quién sabe qué más, and both of them kind of had some knucklehead answers as to why it wouldn't work. And you know, they're like, it's going to cost the city more. Well, yeah, it's going to cost the city more, but here's the problem. If the city of Austin had taken advantage or tries to take advantage of credits that are in grants that are out there, they will be able to go ahead and facilitate that. Plus also, if they have someone with deep pockets, then that's going to also help them out as well. But it's kind of one of those things where I just wanted to go up to them and say, look, I got to tell you this, you're a knucklehead and you're wrong. But I didn't get to, and I was choosing not to because I don't want to say anything out of term in that part. But it was kind of an interesting piece. We're gonna do some additional stuff on that part. I've got the videos, like I said, I'm just working on them. I tried uploading one of the videos today as due to a commitment that I made, and I was trying to do it today during some free time that I had, but I wasn't able to because bandwidth sucked. But we're going to be doing those tonight. We'll be able to have those there, and it'll be beautiful. Now, on to the other fun stuff that's that's going on. It's been an intriguing spot, and I'm going to my fan page, the Common Man Show, to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's been occurring. It's been a beautiful time. I got to say this right now. I do have some comments that went on. Obviously, we had Warren Buffett and the Warren Buffett rule, or the Buffett rule, where they're saying, hey, you know, if you make X amount of money, you can actually add more money to the whole system. So you can help put down or bring down the debt. Novel idea. I've heard, in fact, I heard one politician in El Paso saying, you know, we got to tax more of these individuals that make more money. And one of the arguments that came back was saying, okay, great. You have this idea. Put your money where your mouth is and put money into it. Go ahead and donate some of the money that you make and put it in there. And I think Warren Buffett actually answered that. However, I think that was actually because of money that he actually owes to the IRS. It's one of those ideas it's a novel idea, but how many people are going to want to go ahead and say, hey, let me give you more money when person B over here doesn't give what the president likes to say is our fair share. In fact, the president has is on a certain tax bracket, which doesn't put him in the spot to actually fall under what would be the Buffett rule. However, they asked one of his representatives, I think David Axelrod, saying, hey, well, you want to do it, or the president wants to do it, so is he going to put his money where his mouth is and do it? And the guy's like, no, it's not. The rule's not in place, so we're not going to touch it. I'm like, yeah, smart answer. That's just dumb. But it was a unique conversation on that piece. One of the other items that came up, and we actually want to go ahead and do some stuff, last minute stuff here as we get ready to, or as I'm looking at the clock and I see that we may have to start getting ready to wrap things up here. We want to continue with the weekly presentation of what we call the Chata Award, which for those individuals that may not know what it is, let me go ahead and give you a fresh reminder. The Chata Award is given posthumously to an individual, or awarded to an individual that just says something so dumb or something that is just so wrong that they either have to backtrack from it or they receive some type of backlash for the comments that they made. And you just want to go up to them and say, here, allow me to present this award and tell you in the future, just shut the F up. It's Spanglish. It's beautiful. You love it. You'll love it. Trust me. Friday, on Sunday, we actually gave this award on this past Sunday, but we're going to give it out again, and we want to talk about this part here. Hillary, I want to say the name correctly, Hillary Rosen, who made some comments about Ann Romney and the fact that she doesn't have to work. Okay, Ann Romney, as many people are aware, is the wife of Mitt Romney, and is in a position where, because of their financial stability, she doesn't have to go work an 8-to-5 job or a 11-to-7 or 3-to-11 job, because they have the financial stability to go ahead and not have to worry about that. And Hillary Rosen made a couple of comments in regards to Ann Romney and the fact that she doesn't have to do that, and berated her for not having to work. Now, granted, we didn't know what happened to her when she was younger. She may have had to work at one point, based on some of the history of Mitt Romney. When he earned his money growing up after he became an adult, but they didn't have the luxuries that they had at this time. So I'm assuming that she had to do some type of work somewhere. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Then so be it. But here's the reality of the situation. She's in a position that many people want their spouses to be. Go back to when you were younger and ask yourself, and recall the times when you saw your mom having to go to work. If you were in a family where there was a father and a wife, or a father and a mother, growing up, you didn't really have to see that a lot. I remember my mom not having to work. She worked for a while, I'll tell you that much. But when I grew up, as I was growing up, she stayed at home and she took care of the children. I can give you my personal story right now. My wife doesn't have to work. She owned her own business for years. Okay, 16 years she owned her own business, and the time came along where we said, it's time to go ahead and close up shop. And let's go ahead and take care of the priorities in the house. Take care of me. Take care of the children. Take care of the bills. Take care of me. Take care of whatever stuff that goes on with the family. Take care of me. So you kind of get the gist as to how that worked out. And now she's going back to school. She's doing other things right now that allows her to do this. Does that mean that she doesn't have a voice in politics? Of course she does. Okay, because she's there. She's able to do what the government can't do, and that is operate a business based on the means that are being provided to us, and be able to balance everything and have a little bit more at the end of the day. And granted, Ann Romney probably doesn't have to do a lot of that stuff, but the fact is that she's in a position that that allows her to not work. And for us to say that's a bad thing is wrong. And to have a woman to say this is even worse, because we should congratulate those individuals. And as I told another person, we should congratulate those people and learn what they did in order for those that are with us to have that success. We should learn as to how these people did it, so that we can have our spouses, whether male or female, to enjoy the luxuries of not having to go to work and have one primary breadwinner and take care of the house and take care of what needs to be done, instead of waiting for everything at the end of the day because you're getting off of work and you're tired and everything else, and both of you guys are tired and whatnot. Am I saying that the women should be in the house? No. If you remember, I just made the comment, male or female, it doesn't matter. Okay? But to go ahead and have someone degenerate her or to put her down because of that is just totally uncalled for. And we present the Chata Award to you because you just need to learn to shut up. And in fact, she backtracked from the whole thing and kind of made things a little worse. The other one that we want to give out to is Barney Frank. We posted earlier today where Barney Frank admitted, okay, that the push for Obamacare was probably the wrong thing to do because of the sensitivity of the nature, and it was going to be such a disaster and everything else, especially with people getting ready to run for re-election. And he even admits it, that he says, we made a mistake in doing this, and because we're now seeing the disastrous effects of what's going on. His words, or my paraphrasing of what he said. And it's like, okay, you're saying this partially because you're leaving. You're retiring, but the reality of the situation is that you're right. But because you had to follow suit with everybody else, you didn't want to say it then. And to you, we present the Chata Award because you should have spoke up sooner. Okay? It was just wrong for you to do that. It's right. It's great that you're saying that now, but you should have fought it at the beginning. But no, you want to go ahead and follow suit because it's going to help everybody else. It's going to help the president, and it's going to help me win re-election and quien sabe qué más and all, whatever. Just go home. Okay? You're done. Write a memoir saying how bad things were and how wrong you were on everything that you ever did, and just go. Just go. The last thing I want to touch base on, folks, is this. A couple of weeks ago, we said it here. Okay, we awarded the Chata Award to Rick Santorum for catching himself for almost calling the president the N-word, calling him a government. And we awarded him the Chata Award because he was wrong in doing that. Okay, I've argued before, and I'll argue it again, that in this day and age, our politicians should be smarter and better than what we have in office right now. And to allow your personal vile comments to leak out is inappropriate. And I made the call for Rick Santorum to leave. And as a result, now granted it's probably not as a result of that, but but I'll take the credit. I'll take the credit for it right now. So I'm going to say this right now. Because of me and the fine words that came out of my mouth as I was talking to Rick Santorum and presenting him with the Chata Award on this program, The Common Man Show, he's out of the race. And I'm saddened because he's out, because I liked his mindset. I liked what he was talking about. Like I said before, I'm not a religious man, but I understand. But we're at a time right now. We're at a time where we need to have that come to Jesus moment, and he would have been the perfect fit. But because of his comments, or his near disastrous comments that he caught himself in, it was time for him to leave, and we congratulate him for stepping down. Now, granted, he also has some situations with his child, but it's good that he left, and I applaud him for doing that, and we wish him the best of luck. Just don't, in all honesty, let's just put it this way, okay? Don't even pound the pavement for Mitt Romney, okay? You have said a lot of stuff against Mitt Romney that people are going to throw back in your face and say, well, you didn't think it was perfect. You didn't think it was great. Now you're saying he's great. What the hell? Come on. Just say, hey, I support him. I'll go ahead and back him up 100%. And then when the convention comes, you say, ladies and gentlemen, I had said a lot of things negative about Mitt Romney because of my personal desire to become president. But the reality of the situation is that I'm not perfect. And I may not be the right person for the job. And I believe that in my heart of hearts, that Mitt Romney is the person to lead us in a new direction, not only as a party, but as a group and a country as a whole, that he will help with his policies to lead us out of the rut that we're in and come to a greatness, to a bigger greatness than what we've anticipated, than what we expected from the past 4 years. That's all he has to say. That's all he has to do. And then say, allow me to introduce Mitt Romney. Hey, all right, and everything's all beautiful, and everybody eats cake at the end. That's all he has to say, and it's just beautiful stuff. But yeah, we thank him for it, and I'd like to thank the Common Man Show, the program, for giving us the opportunity to tell everybody that we asked him to leave, and he has left us. So, folks, it's that time where we've got to go ahead and close up shop over here. It's been great. It's been fantastic. I want to thank you guys for being here with us. I want to thank you guys for listening to us. And I want to thank you again for allowing me to spend a few minutes of this program to go ahead and talk about a great influential person in my life that is no longer with us. And the best thing we can do now, or the best thing that I can do now, is try to live up to the standards that he had. It's going to be a tough job. It's going to be a tough thing to do because of the fact that he was just such a great man. And we can only hope that we can live up to those standards and live up to those morals that he so grew up in. But I want to thank you guys again, folks. You guys want to reach out to us? Here's the ways you can reach out to us. If you're on Facebook, click on the like button to the Common Man Show. If you want to reach out to me personally, it is Francisco Gabriel Nila, or as the way I like to say it, because it just rolls off the tongue just so beautifully, Francisco Gabriel Nila. It just sounds beautiful. I swear, I've said that before, and it's like, it's like saying Enrique Iglesias. It just rolls, and his dad, and I forget his name. I can't remember his name now. And the ever popular Gabriel Iglesias, Julio Iglesias, Enrique Iglesias, and of course El Fluffy. It just sounds so beautiful. It just rolls. It's just like, ooh, just oogies. You know, it just gives you all those little creamy feelings inside. You can reach out to me there, friend request me there, and we can have a great time talking. You can email me. You can email me at thecommonmanshow@gmail.com. It is thecommonmanshow@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter. It's twitter.com/Gabriel Nila. Find me there. We'll be able to have some direct messages that we can do there. I, in fact, had some great comments made by a person recently that just joined, and we want to thank her for the comments that she sent me, and we are hoping that the videos that we post are going to be pretty great. So you can follow us there, and you can call. Folks, you can actually call or text me at 512-541-5122. I'm going to prefer that you guys text me for the time being, because pretty soon we will actually be able to take phone calls here in studio or here in the inner sanctum sanctorum while we do the program live. We've got some great stuff coming up, folks. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to tell you pretty soon, as soon as we get done with this program, I'm going to be making some phone calls and saying, when do you want to come on? And you're going to love the people that are going to be coming on. It is just phenomenal. If it happens, like I said, I'm not going to jinx it. I don't want to mess it up. But if it happens, you're going to love the people that are going to be coming on. It's going to be some great stuff. Folks, this is the Common Man Show, here coming to you from the inner sanctum sanctorum in Austin, Texas. We're going to see you guys next week. And if you guys get a chance to, find us on All Digital Radio this coming Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. You'll be able to find us there as well. Folks, you guys take care. Bye-bye.